With Uber and Lyft making a push for an all-electric vehicle fleet by 2030 in the US, it's going to have many drivers having to switch from regular gas-powered, whatever they're driving right now, to an electric car. So there's a lot of questions that a lot of drivers are going to be having, as well as people who are looking at purchasing electric vehicles. And one of the nice things is there was a driver who hit 100,000 miles on a Tesla Model 3, which is what we're going to be looking at, and kind of look at what some of the maintenance costs are, what some of the battery degradation tests are, and hopefully it'll help you realize that electric vehicles may not be so bad after all. That's what we're talking about right now. Hey everyone, Chris here from Real Rideshare Stories. If you're new to the channel and you're looking for different things within the rideshare industry, whether it's updates to what's going on, news, tips and tricks for passengers and drivers, or what actually happens on real rideshare rides, start now by hitting that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Also, make sure to check the description below for other helpful information and tips. Real quick, let's talk about the Always Drive Sober campaign, which is a campaign that I will be doing over the next couple of weeks and wrapping it up on November 1st with a 24-hour live stream. Now, the Always Drive Sober campaign is exactly what it says. Always make sure when you get behind the wheel to drive sober, never under the influence of alcohol or anything else that could impair your judgment while on the road. If you're going out to have a little bit of fun and going to be drinking, make sure you plan ahead by either ordering an Uber or Lyft, calling a cab, having a friend or family member pick you up, or pre-planning with a designated driver when you are going to go out. And also with the upcoming holidays and still in a pandemic, make sure to take the proper precautions and always drive sober. And not only just spreading awareness, I've also set up a GoFundMe where directed donations will go directly to the charity that I've chosen, which is MAD, or Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And they also help spread awareness when it comes to drinking and driving and trying to stop it altogether. And lastly, this is something we could really stop today if we all chipped in and decided never to get behind the wheel when having any drink or having something that will impair our judgment in any way, shape, or form. Remember, always drive sober. Now, first off, this video is tailored more for Uber and Lyft drivers and anybody who's looking at an EV or wanting to look at the costs associated with it, the battery degradation and all that stuff, but it's going to be more geared towards Uber and Lyft drivers. Although anybody who is looking at trying to get a Tesla Model 3, you may gain some really good insight from this article that I'm going to be sharing on the true breakdown costs of what it looks like to be a Tesla owner for a Tesla Model 3 driving over 100,000 miles in just 2 years. So it's going to be very reflective of what Uber and Lyft drivers may actually be doing, because 50,000 miles a year is typical for several drivers who actually are driving. So it's going to put into costs analysis exactly what this is going to look like and exactly how you can fare when it comes to driving an electric vehicle like the Tesla Model 3 versus a gas-powered counterpart. So now this is the article I'm going to be referencing right now. It's from electric.co, and a link will be in the description below. So if you want to check this article out, then you absolutely can. It's titled Tesla Model 3 with 100,000 miles shows extreme low cost and minimal battery degradation. So this is going to be a really good thing for anybody who is a rideshare driver looking at EVs, especially something that's going to be a little more affordable, like the Tesla Model 3, which starts at $35,000. Now, it sounds like it's a lot, but the average car in America that's sold is already at that price. So it's very comparable to the average out there. But a lot of things about the maintenance and also the battery degradation over time and what it looks like overall could be swaying factor when you actually see a real world example. So let's look into the article itself, and it says, today we look at one of the first Tesla Model 3 cars with 100,000 miles and the owner's experience with service, maintenance, and battery degradation. And those are a couple of things that anybody who's driving would want to know if they're looking at an EV. So it says there's quite a few high mileage Tesla vehicles out there. This person who wrote the article has a Tesla Model X with over 400,000 miles on it, so they will last quite a while if you take care of them. Now, if you want to check out that article, link will be in the link in the description below, so you can check that out. I'm not going to be looking into that one. We're only going to be looking at the Tesla Model 3 because that's a much more affordable car for the average rideshare driver and probably somebody who's going to be looking at something like a Tesla electric vehicle over maybe the Model S, which is a lot higher in price, almost double. So it says there's not many Model 3 and Model Y vehicles, which are Tesla's latest gen vehicles with six-figure mileage yet, only because they've only been out for a couple of years, and the average person drives anywhere from 10,000 to 15,000 miles per year. So you can see there's not too many, but most rideshare drivers could put upwards of 50,000 miles or more per year on their vehicles. Again, this is something that you really want to know because it's very comparable to a rideshare driver. Kazi Imam has one of the first Model 3s with more than 100,000 miles, and he talked to Electric about his experience with the electric car to date. He put 100,000 miles on the 2018 Model 3 long range in just over 2 years. So like I said, this is going to be a really good comparison for the average driver who drives Uber and Lyft or another rideshare company, or even within the gig economy itself, because if you're in the gig economy, you're probably using your car to either do deliveries, whether it's food, whether it's packages, whether it's shopping and then delivering the food to them or packages or whatever it might be, or also transporting passengers. So he told Electric that he was quite impressed by the cost of ownership of the Model 3. With over 100,000 miles, which would take the average driver 6 years to travel, the Model 3 only cost him $4,732.11, including the cost of electricity. So he said, I was astonished at the low cost of maintenance and service for the car. The total cost of electricity was $2,985. Total maintenance and service cost was $1,741.11. So the total cost of car ownership for this entire time was $4,732.11. So what goes into that maintenance? Well, he said that tires made up most of the maintenance costs and service. And he also gave a breakdown of the services performed by Tesla on the Model 3 over time. One of the things that had to be replaced was the air filter. So at 36,000 miles, it started giving that musky odor, and it needed to have the air filters replaced and evap cleaned, which totaled $136.50. Now, one of the things is you can do this yourself. It's very easy to do, and that would be a fraction of the cost. So you could probably save $100 or so by buying the filter on Amazon, watching the video on how to do it that's posted on Tesla, and do it yourself for a much cheaper price. So you could probably save $100 right there just in maintenance. So it says tires, as for most electric cars, are the biggest maintenance and service costs for Tesla vehicles. It's no different for his Model 3. He got the tires replaced around 45,000 miles from Costco, and those tires cost him about $1,200 and also offer lifetime free rotations. Now, you could probably get different tires as well. These are probably premium tires that's going for $1,200. You could probably lower that cost down if you wanted. I would suggest getting tires that are going to have a very good warranty for them. So then, again, rideshare drivers put a lot of wear and tear on their vehicles and a lot of miles. So right there, you want to get a tire that's going to have a very good warranty. Goes on, it says more recently he did a little more maintenance. At the 95,000 mile mark, the wiper blades had to be changed, a wheel alignment and a brake bleed was done for $410.61. You could replace the wiper blades yourself as well. Wheel alignment, you do have to take it in. And the brake bleed, if you know what you're doing, you could probably do that yourself. So again, you could probably get that down quite a bit if you know how to do a couple of things around the car. And then he goes on and gives a breakdown of things that Tesla replaced and fixed under warranty or goodwill. So even though it hit past the warranty, Tesla still did some changes and updates on things that were problematic for him. So that's pretty good. So impressively, it was nothing until over 50,000 miles on the Model 3. At 51,000, the wooden trim dashboard started to peel and that had to be replaced, which was under warranty. At 63,000, the passenger window started squeaking whenever it was used, so the seal had to be replaced and it was also covered under warranty. 71,000, the car had a front left safety restraint fault error, which was fixed under goodwill. 93,000 miles, driver's headrest looked worn out and was replaced for free as well. Tesla also installed a missing breather on top of the HV battery and replaced the charge port insulator pins with updated parts under warranty service. So that's pretty good to have a couple of things done either at Goodwill or just because, which is always nice. That's always a good perk for sure. So as for fuel costs, a comparable vehicle like the BMW 3 Series would have easily cost over $8,000 in gas over the same mileage. Now, BMW 3 Series, I believe you have to use premium unleaded fuel, which is going to have a higher cost. And depending on where in the country you are, gas prices are going to range substantially. So you could pay a really high amount if you're in Southern California. You could pay a much lower amount if you're in South Carolina. Again, something like that, it has to be comparative to what your vehicle is. So again, it says it cost him less than $3,000 in electricity, and that's over the 2 years for the 100,000 miles, which is, in my opinion, really, really good. And then one of the other big questions that you have to have when looking at an EV, and that is, what is it going to look like for battery degradation over time when you hit that 100,000 mile mark? So this says that it was minimal on the Model 3 when it hit the 100,000. And he says that the degradation appears to be minimal as he currently gets 305 miles at 100% charge, but it does fluctuate from time to time. So this is roughly a 5% degradation over 2 years and 100,000 miles, but that the number of cycles would be normally achieved over 5 to 6 years on average. But again, this is somebody who is driving their car a lot. So this is going to be very typical for what a Uber or Lyft driver may be looking at when it comes to costs associated, maintenance repairs, and then battery degradation over time. So overall, the owner says he's impressed with the EV. All in all, I'm impressed with Tesla's service, especially with them replacing things for free. When I was well past my warranty period, I was provided with a loaner from Tesla, and that's pretty cool too. He says that the car still drives as new. And if you have a high mileage EV, let us know about your experience in the comment section below. So if you want to, in this article, you can, but you can also do it if you are driving a Tesla as a Uber or Lyft driver and just share some experiences with that. So now at least that's going to answer the question what it might look like for a typical Uber or Lyft driver who does put a lot of miles onto their car, and what it could look like for maintenance, what it's going to cost for electricity when it comes to filling the car up and getting that full charge, and then also what it's going to look like over time for battery degradation and all of those things added up. So this is going to be a very appealing car overall. And this is something that I'm seriously considering for my next vehicle purchase, and then still driving Uber and Lyft as well. So now let's talk about something that you may actually be questioning that the article did not actually specifically cover, but in its overall context, it kind of did. And that's talking about the range of an EV. Well, an electric vehicle obviously is going to range differently depending on the model, depending on the trim, depending on the motor, depending on the battery, depending on how you drive, if it's extreme cold, if it's extreme hot. There's a lot of different factors that will affect the range of each and every EV out there. But to keep it apples to apples, we're going to go with the Tesla Model 3 Long Range Edition, which the article is using because that's what that driver had. The EPA estimates on a full charge that you should be getting 353 miles on that charge. So if you are an Uber or Lyft driver and you're driving under that 353 mile per day, well, that's fantastic news, because when you go to sleep, you can just plug in your car and it's going to charge up overnight while you're sleeping, or during the day, depending on how your sleeping habits are. But also, if you drive over that, or if you get close to something where it's going to tell you you need to charge up, well, you can always stop, pull over, go to a supercharger, and in 30 to 45 minutes, you'll have a full charge. So there's a lot of different things there. And as new technology comes out, as the ability to charge up faster, they're going to try and get that down even more. So maybe it'll charge 80% in 5 minutes. That's some technology that they're trying to talk to. Something like that could be a game changer as well. So over the next 10 years or so, it's going to be really interesting to see the new technology that's coming out, as well as the new pushes that they're going to be making when it comes to supercharging technology, when it comes to battery packs, when it comes to overall expected range on these EVs. Now, currently, the Tesla Model 3 Long Range Edition, I think, is going to be a phenomenal car, but even better for a Uber or Lyft driver because of its low cost of ownership. So now I want to know what you think. Do you think that the Tesla Model 3 Long Range Edition is going to be a good vehicle? Do you think other EVs are going to be good vehicles to drive for Uber or Lyft, or just driving overall? Comment below, let me know. Also, if you are driving a Tesla and you drive Uber and Lyft, comment below, let me know. Share your thoughts and experiences with everybody on what you think when it comes to it. What about the range? What about the cost of ownership? All of those things, please let us know. With that being said, that's the end of the video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you'll be notified every time a new video is uploaded. Also, make sure to check the description below for other helpful information and tips. And as always, never drink and drive. Always tip your drivers, your delivery drivers, and your shoppers. And we'll see you next time.